Hey, man, you already know what it is, man. So You Heard podcast. We got a special guest coming up on the other side. Hey, man, but I had to wake my boy Joe up, man. He was, you know what I'm saying, getting that nap before game time today.
Nice nap, baby. It's like an after-school nap.
Yeah, man, that's a clutch nap right there, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to come with the energy now. Get ready. We got 2 big games today. We're going to talk some recruiting on the other side of this, man. Joe ain't got his water, but you already know what we do, man. We clink it up over here, man. Let's do it.
Welcome to the You Heard podcast.
I'm hurt, dog.
Ben and Joe break down all things Miami Hurricanes football.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no.
From hot topics to pre- and post-game analysis.
Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
You Heard.
I put my heart in this, dog.
Hey, man, look. We were talking before, like, yo, we got to talk recruiting. There's only one person we got to get on the show. The man lives and breathes it, man. We had to get Rasta on the show, man. What up, brother?
What's good, family? How y'all boys doing?
Hey, man, you know, just chilling, man. Just chilling out here doing our thing, man. Yo, look, last 2 weeks and these next 2 weeks have been crazy for recruiting. First question I want to ask you, Ross. Have you, in your time following this, man, with David Stone, right? Doing back-to-back weekends of going to campus. Have you heard of that before? Because I can't remember, like, off the top of my head, can't think of somebody who's done back-to-back weekends.
Yeah, I mean, usually not when it's not a local guy. You really don't see that typically. You know, but when you go and you look at, like, the Alabama recruiting blueprint, you go look at the Georgias and Ohio States, you know, the guys that's been doing it at a high level, it actually happens fairly often, which is kind of it's crazy because down here we don't see it a lot because we didn't have the guys that lived, eat, and breathe, sleep recruiting like Mario. But when you look at guys like what we have right now in Mario and Dennis Smith and a lot of the Pop Coonies and stuff like that, dude, they're working so much, man. And I'm not surprised to hear a guy like David Stone say, hey, look, I'm coming in back-to-back weekends. Because when you dig a little deeper into it, you'll notice that, yeah, they're coming to Miami, but they're also coming down for, like, this week was Rivals Camp. So a lot of them came down for that. But then it's like, okay, well, next week it's not. There's nothing going on. It's a regular visit, which this was too as far as campus. But, it's not as surprising to see somebody like Mario use this time with a camper, with 707s and stuff, events going on around the city to get these young men and say, hey, look, come on down and just visit, bro. Like, you're here already. Why not slide through? So, I'm not surprised at all, to be honest with you. It's just what Mario does. I'm just glad that he's doing it the way he's doing it, man, because it's only going to pay off in the end. When I dig in recruiting a lot, I tell a lot of people, I'm not a portal guy because people aren't going to win championships just building off the portal, So in my eyes and what I like to do is you build a foundation and then you use the portal for, like gap fillers. So that's why I love the way Mario does this, man, because you're going to take a deeper 20, 25 class. Rather, when some of these schools will probably take 15 recruiting kids and they're 15 portal kids nowadays.
Yeah, the Florida State project. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
They'll be going at Tallahassee, man. They're projected national championship contenders.
Yeah, man. You ain't hear Newberg already saying they already won the recruiting? You know what I'm saying? In March. Fuck out of here.
You know what's funny is, so, like, I'm a troll when it comes to, like, Florida State. I hate those schools with everything in me, man.
Yes.
And it's like last year, Florida was the off-season champs, right? They were landing everybody. Everybody was going to Florida. So, I see a kid post anything about Miami or anything about another school, I would just automatically repost and be like, Gator Lock. He's a Gator Lock. Because that's just what Florida was doing at the time, right? And now it seems like, FSU's starting to feel themselves, and now they're going to gain that offseason momentum and stuff like that. So now it's kind of like, they're FSU lock, automatically. They're going to Florida State.
Right.
So, and then we all know, bro, what Mario loves to do. And I mean, he's going to win this battle for sure.
So let's hop right into it. You know what I mean? Let's Aaron Nolan, man. You know what I mean? He's the first one making a decision. It looks like, you know, he making a decision next month? I believe
April 8th. 2 weeks. April 8th. Yeah.
Fresh. You know, I don't know if he announced that decision date before visiting us or after.
After.
Yeah, it was like he was actually here still. He was on campus because he arrived from Miami on Wednesday. He was at practice on Thursday. He stayed Friday, and the staff had something for the elite or the Sweet 16 game with some of the recruits, and then he stayed Saturday for the scrimmage, and I think it was Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, he announced that he was gonna be committed.
Okay. So with that, you know, what's your gauge, man? What do you think about that decision and you know, about him fitting in and possibly committing to Miami? How do you feel about it?
I mean, if you deep dive back, man, I mean, even before this recruiting cycle started, I've been saying Aaron Nolan's a Kane, man. That kid he's special to me. I think he carries, you know, that next level talent. I've watched him throw in the state title game, bro. That kid puts on so much touch. It's impressive for a junior in high school. Yeah. So I like that type of talent is I can see why Coach Ponce and now Coach Dawson want him. Moving in where I think he's going to be. In our Discord, man, I literally just put in a crystal ball yesterday for Aaron Nolan. And I put it at about a 9 out of 10. I'm feeling real confident with that one.
Yeah, it sounded like it's giving me ambassador 2024 ambassador vibes. You know what I mean? Like he's going to commit early and he's going to be the ambassador for the class.
I mean, for sure, man. Like, if there's anything you'll notice with Mario Cristobal, bro, is he likes to get his quarterbacks in the class and then just let the snowball roll.
Facts.
You know, because that's honestly where it starts. A lot of, you know, especially us wanting 4 to 5 wide receivers this year, you better find him, you know, some guys to, you know, battle with it. A lot of people don't realize that Aaron Nolan has ties to Chance Robinson, Jeremiah Smith, and LaWayne McCoy, and JoJo. So like it's smart to get that kid in the fold, not only just because of his talent and, you know, what he's capable of, but the fact that he has ties to these kids down here.
Yes. Definitely.
Facts.
Definitely.
What do you think about I know Luke Moga was down here too this past weekend. Came down with the fam. Do you think Mario's gonna take with TVD probably leaving this next season? You think Mario takes 2 quarterbacks? And what are your thoughts on Moga?
I do. The entire us not getting technically 2 last cycle pretty much guarantees we're taking 2 this. You know, and the reason being is, you know, we'll only have 2 quarterbacks coming into next year, Curry and Emory. And I think both of those guys are elite, don't get me wrong. But if you want to become an elite team, you better stack elite talent, depth, like full out depth, right? So when I hear like, okay, we take 2 quarterbacks, typically in my eyes, I don't want to take the same quarterback, right? And when you get somebody like Aaron Nolan, I don't like the word pocket passer for him because he can get out and extend the play and make some drives. I don't think he's as athletic as a Curry, right? You know, like he's not going to get out here and run through somebody like Cam Newton and stuff like that. But if you want to compliment somebody and get somebody in the fold with him, Luke Moga is definitely somebody I would be happy with. The kid just ran a 10.4 100 meters in his last track meet, I think last week or the week before, which is incredible for a quarterback. you know, and then you have the ability with him to develop him into a better passer. I don't think he's as elite of a passer, and that's not saying much, you know, because he's still a junior in high school. But you have the ability to, you know, develop him, and if you can develop that young man with his athleticism, bro, that's something special, you know.
Yeah. Luke Moga. So with Aaron Nolan, you know, let's say Aaron Nolan in the fold, we're looking for 2 quarterbacks. AJ Hairston, the AJ Hairston kid.
That's the young man, bro.
That's the wild card right there.
That's the guy I would shoot for. You know, just because 6'6", like 200, like 10 pounds already. Kid's got a rocket arm, but he's accurate. You know, he could throw the short and down the distance. He can launch the ball, and you know, like he's a unicorn, bro. He's special.
Why is he so under the radar now, man? Why hasn't he been discovered?
Because there's so many kids, bro. It's weird because there's so many young men that don't camp, that don't, you know, go out to these 707s, and you know, whether it's financial, you know, concerns, or you know, maybe the kid just he likes to play with his guys or anything like that, right?
Right.
To me, your issue is you can't see everyone. You know, I don't care who you are, how you are, unless you legitimately go to you have a guy that can go to every single game in the country. It doesn't matter, bro. 247 has like 5 or 6 guys down here, you know, and it's nearly impossible to be able to find every diamond in the rough, you know. And even when they do, they still it's kind of like they go under the radar because they don't go to the camps, you know, which brings those businesses money and revenue and stuff like that pay the bills.
That exposure,
you know, yeah, it'll be just kind of similar like they do it every year, you know, whether it's right or whether it's wrong. I'm not a fan of the star system, but you know, look at Emory Williams, bro. He didn't camp at much at all last year, and definitely the years before, and you know, they didn't even have him ranked. Then he goes to the Elite 11 and finishes like in the top 5, and they still have him in like top 20s in quarterback. Like that makes no sense. So, you know, it's a business, you know, which I'm fine with. I'm glad we have the guys like Alonzo Highsmith and Mario Cristobal and some of the others that help behind the scenes, because you're able to find those hidden gems, you know, and recruit them. I think Emory Williams has a chance to be one of the best quarterbacks to walk through the head. So
that's big talk.
Yeah,
that's big.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, for real. With Emory, right? Like going back to that, like how I remember watching the Elite 11 tape, and I was like, this guy's good. Like he's outplaying most quarterbacks,
sure.
And then just never gets upped in the star system, or there isn't like a big uptick in recruiting. Like I was like, he's a big kid, you know what I'm saying, accurate with the ball. That's just, and again, he was a junior at that point. He was a junior in high school. Like it was just weird to see that reaction. I was like, how is that not, you know what I'm saying, talked about more? It was just, is that the, you know what I'm saying, this is where I go with my conspiracy theory shit. Like, is that just the Hurricane bias? Like, because he was through and through Hurricane, talking it up with Josh Pate and them on Rivals and all that, and he was so open about it. Like, you just think that was like a hindrance to him?
I mean, there's 100% a Canes bias when it comes to these recruiting sites, 100%. And you know, I won't argue that at all. I know these 247s and Rivals, and they try to bicker and there's no conspiracy. It's just, I'm sorry, like it's just how we feel, whatever. Like you drop too many guys, man. Like I'm sorry, but Francis Malgo is the #1 O lineman in the entire country, and you dropped him to like 3rd because he didn't commit to Alabama, some SEC school. So you missed me with that, bro. But I do know it's politics, right? A lot of these sites get paid, you know, to do work. So, you know, I don't blame them. You know, it's their job. But that's why I tell our fans all the time, bro, don't deep dive into the star systems, bro. Actually turn on some film. And, if you got any questions, 'cause I know everybody's not a film guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But actually go look at the quarterbacks, man. Go find somebody who actually studies and knows the positions and stuff like that, and ask their own opinion, because these star ratings, bro, they go off, how tall is he? How much does he weigh? Well, what school is he going to? Yeah, that school does develop, really good talent to the NFL. And, there's so much other, stuff that go into those guys, man. I don't really pay too much attention. I have my own board. I have my own rankings that I like to put kids at, and, where I hope the Miami Hurricanes have them, stuff like that. So, but it is definitely a conspiracy theory with these guys.
Yeah, I want to stay on that for a minute, Rasta. Like you said, you have your own board and your own kind of rankings. Like, how do you, I don't know, how do you judge, or how do you look at when you're looking at recruits? Do you hold more? Does level of competition hold more weight, or height, weight, measurables hold more weight? Or are you actually deep that, you're looking at a quarterback and you're looking at, their footwork, their arm strength, their decision making? Like what holds the most weight to you when you're looking at recruits?
The one thing I want to see anytime so what I've always been told by college staffs is they do one thing. They watch the first 3 plays of a kid's highlight tape, right? Okay. And they don't watch the rest of the highlight tape. So I've sat down with a few coaches before and kind of just got some tips and hints from them, like, what do y'all look for, stuff like that. And it is, you watch for explosiveness, like how do they place their hands if they're into like their O-line, D-line, how quick are their feet, how easy do they get separation if they're a wide receiver, with the corner, how physical are they? Are they really hands-on, or do they use more technique with their hips? With the quarterback, obviously his footwork is huge. The feet always moving. Do they, kind of go through their progression smooth with their feet, with their hips, and with their arms? Like how do they hold pressure? Because every quarterback's going to get smacked in the mouth, right? So how does this quarterback handle pressure? Like, is he able to see a blitz coming right up the middle from a Mike linebacker and still get the ball, whether it's right over that guy's head or whether it's a 9 route and he just launches it over the corners? Like, how do they go into it, right? I don't look too much into size. And the reason why I don't is because I don't care about the NFL yet with these young men, right? Because when it gets to that portion, you go from 4,000 or 5,000 kids going to college, bro. It's only like 200 kids getting drafted. So how can I judge a kid off of his future NFL status? So whereas you'll see a guy like a lot of these Heisman Trophy winners, right? They go on to be elite, really, really outstanding college players, but then they just don't transition to the NFL.
Why would Young type? Right.
Yeah. So, and look, like you just said, Vince Young, he was what, 6'6", 220 pounds? Yeah. There's plenty of size at quarterback, right?
Yeah.
But yet you turn around and see Drew Brees, who's like 5'10", 200 pounds, who's a future Hall of Famer.
On a good day.
Exactly. So it's like I don't look too much into height and weight. I look into, obviously that plays a little part, but because you don't want nobody 5'5", obviously, but you look into how fast are they? I don't care about a 40 time. How quick and twitchy are they coming off the line? Can they get around? Can they beat a guy? Because that's key, right? When you get a guy like Ray, he's like 5'8" on like you said, on a good day. He's got to use his skill and technique and his quickness to get off the ball. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, that to me is what I want to study. That's what I want to look at. Like, how do they handle all these other situations? I'm a DB at heart. So to me, I question a lot of corners and safeties, especially wide receivers, harder than any other position because I know that position that well. Right. So I look for athleticism in corners, right? Because you have to be able to play multiple positions at cornerback. You know, you got to be able to play safety. You got to be able to play nickel. You got to be able to come up in the box and you know, stop a screen nowadays, especially when they're 5 wide and you got three wide receivers blocking. You got to, you know, get through that block. Are you physical enough? So like, there's a lot that goes into my own board, you know. And there's a lot of dudes last year that I wish Miami would have got, you know, involved in, but they decided, you know, nah, we want these guys that, you know, we're gonna go this way, which I still like the dudes they went after, you know. And it's you know, it's similar this year, which I'm fine with. You know, when you're recruiting, you're not, for your program's sake, you're not only looking for talent, right? You're looking for culture fits. So, you know, and yeah, I'll sit down and I'll talk to kids and, you know, see how they are mentally and, you know, where their mindsets are, because not everybody fits the University of Miami, you know, the Miami Hurricane mold, the U, right? No, like, not everybody's going to be able to be that. So those are other parts that, you know, people have to deep dive into as well. So it's a second job for Mario and his staff, bro, on the recruiting trail.
Facts. And I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think there's one thought before you slide in, Ben. I think there's a real importance factor in seeing a kid live. I don't think there's a replacement for watching games live, not highlights. You know what I mean? Not 7-on-7s, but games, like going to the high school games, because you can see how they react when they get called for a holding, or when they throw a pick, or when they get smacked in the mouth.
Right.
You know, you can see how they are on the sidelines when they're down 17 going into half.
Yeah. I mean? And I'll use this as a you know, example, right? So with me being down here in South Florida, I don't have the ties to be able to get out and go all across this country, right? There was a young man that played with your son, Trent Simpson, right? That I remember clearly, me and you used to talk about this young man daily, right? And like I used to tell you, bro, on tape, I don't think there's many linebackers out here better, right? And I used to ask him, like, what is he like on the field? What is he like at practice? What do you see? And being able to pick your brain, because you're there every day, that's what also kind of convinced me, like, I don't care what it takes, what we got to do. We need that kid, right? And me and you talked, I think, almost every single day about that young man until he committed to Clemson. And, you know, that's something that if I'm using it, you know, for a fact, somebody like Mario Cristobal will use that, you know, and the staff, like, oh, I got to committed there, right? So I want to talk to his mom and dad and see how they see this young man, because obviously his teammates probably going to defend him sometimes, you know, especially if they're close or, you know, if they're not close, then obviously he's going to be like, nah, I don't want him to come to Miami with me and da-da-da. But it's not always about that sometimes, right? So sometimes it is better to get a parent, a coach, a pastor, or, you know, the grocery bag handler, you know, whatever. It is. It's crucial to get those advice as well from other people.
Yep, definitely. Hell yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, Trent, just saw the highlight. I remember you talking about him because he's just going to the league right now. He balled out at that combine. As far as your board, right, and going back to what you said about, I'm saying, DBs and secondaries being your thing. What did you think? So it's a two-part question. What did you think about the guys we got last year, the guys we got coming in, and even like the guys that Mario pulled at the end of his first recruiting, like a Chris Graves and people like that? Who of those young men stand out to you, and who are the guys coming in this 24 class that are on your are high up on your board as far as secondary?
So I'll start with the 2022 class, Mario's first class. When you look at that class, it wasn't as deep, right? Because he didn't have the full year to recruit and stuff like that. So he had to go out and get certain guys to fit. But Chris Graves was committed to us, right? And, you know, that was a good steal because Florida was literally trying to recruit him hard as Billy Napier and Corey Raymond got there late as well. So for Mario to hold on to him, that was really, really good for us because Chris Graves is probably the most athletic corner that we do have in the locker room right now. which I mean, you still got to be developed. You still got to be able to get out here and play. Like athleticism is only probably like 20% of the battle. But I love that class that we were able to bring in that year. I do think that the sky's the limit for them. But man, it's like I tell every kid, I tell every fan, every parent, you're only as good as you get developed, right? And half the battles on the coaches and half the battles on the young man. So, this is what his junior year this year? No, sophomore year. So this year is actually really, really crucial in his transition, because if you don't really see the field this year, if you're not really getting too much burn, and I'm not saying be a starter getting like 60% of the snaps, but you got to at least get 20% of the snaps. You need 10, 15 plays regardless at this point in time. He's going to be a redshirt freshman because he didn't play a lot last year. Yeah. But it's good for him to actually get out there and get some burn so he can, learn that transition, because you can do everything in practice the right way. But if you're not doing it when you get out there in Hard Rock, what's the point of doing it at Green Tree? It's got to transition. We had a ton of Green Tree All-Americans, but when we got to Hard Rock, it just didn't transition. So that to me, man, it's a problem, right, in its own self. But dive into this 23 class, man. Like, obviously losing Cormani is like, damn, okay. But I had always said, bro, like, the thing with Cormani is I think Cormani was going to at least need a year to fully become what everybody thought he could be. It doesn't mean he could have been a starter this year. It doesn't mean he would have been seen on the field at all. It's just when you're 160 pounds, bro, I don't care how good you are. There's a 200-pound wide receiver that's going to come eggplant you right on the field somewhere. You got a 6'3", because he's gonna obviously guard the bigger corners because he's bigger wide receivers because he's bigger corner. Those bigger corners are a lot bigger and stronger than you. You're gonna need more than just the trail technique, to be able to help you, which he can still do, obviously, especially if he early enrolls. But I always kept telling people, yes, he has all the tangibles to be elite. I do not doubt that. But you're still going to have to get here and get developed. You're still going to have to get here and put on weight. You're still going to have to get here and do what you're supposed to do, learn the playbook, be able to earn these reps and stuff like that. Nothing's given, right? And, so that was obviously still a loss regardless, because anytime you can land the number one player in the country, you land them. But he is.
That boy, man, I can't lie.
Nah, for sure, man. But when you get two young men like Damari Brown and Robert Stafford, to be in this class no matter what, because they were already committed. Damari committed on signing day, but we all knew where he was going. At the end of the day, when you have two guys like that, bro, I think you're still have a really good class at corner, because with Damari is, to me, a future All-American. The reason why I say that, he's the most technically sound DB that came out of that class last year. He is a technician. He's a freak of nature. He can do everything you want him to do. He plays zone. He can play man. He can play bump. He can play. He can give you cushion and still run side by side. It doesn't matter what you do with Damari. He's still going to get you what you need in a DB, right? And I mean, as a freshman, I think Damari, had he enrolled early, I think Damari would have been pushing for a starter spot. I think he's that good. Then when you get somebody like Robert Stafford, bro, he's quick, he's twitchy, he's agile, he's an athlete, bro. He's a wide receiver that transitioned over to the defensive back position. So he knows the route tree. He knows how to run a route for the wide receiver. He knows what a wide receiver is thinking. He can recognize the play. Like, the kid is athletically gifted. He now might be, just depends. Like, I would love to see him and Chris Graves in a race. But he legit might be one of the most athletic now in that locker room. When he gets here, obviously, I think June. So I think our DB room is crazy good. But I do think you need 2 more, possibly 3 more corners this cycle. And I'll jump into that. Obviously, there's 2 guys out of state that I would love to have, and that's Xavier Brown and Marcellus Williams out of California. I think they're really, really good. But honestly, getting any Cali kid is a hard shot. But it's somebody that has a shot, I think it's Mario Cristobal. Because I do think we get a couple Cali kids this cycle, whether they're at linebacker or in them trenches.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know Oregon's kind of got the upper hand at the moment with those young men, and USC is definitely looking good for a lot of those guys, right? Yeah. But when you dig a little deeper into Florida, it's not as stacked. It's not as top heavy, right? You got Jamari Howard, who is elite. Like, he's that next level, where he can do any and everything you want him to do. And he's right out of South Florida. He's actually committed to Michigan State at the moment. He committed early on in the game. So, I think he's a young man that if we push, we'll end up flipping him. He's like 6'2" or 6'3", I think, long corner, has really good speed. So I think we'll be all right there. Then you have hold on, I'm drawing a blank. John Mitchell and Antoine Belgrave. I think this is Belgrave Shorter. They're both out of Jacksonville area, out of Mandarin High School, who I think are really, really good, especially in the state of Florida, which I would not mind getting either one of those dudes. They just came on a recent visit. You have like Amari Sanders, who's from Gulliver, out of Miami. He's underrated. He's not highly ranked, but the staff loves him. They think they could turn him into a elite prospect. So I trust him, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you the two that I like, right? And everybody's gonna look at me and be like, "Oh, these are wide receivers." They are, but I believe both of them could be 5-star corners if they played the position. And that's Josiah Strader and that's LaWayne McCoy. Both honestly can play corner at an elite level. So I wouldn't be mad if we got either one of them play, but obviously they're being recruited at wide receiver, which we do need help in as well. So I'm good with that.
What about the Ricky Knight kid?
I love Ricky Knight. I think he's another underrated guy. Honestly, I have him in this class. I think we land him. So I don't really talk about him as much just because I like to talk about guys that nobody really talks about. When you jump on boards and stuff, Ricky Knight is a guy that's talked about 24/7. He's out of the Benjamin School. He plays with one of the homies that plays there, Chauncey Bowens, who's committed to UF right now for running back. That Benjamin School team, bro, they're pretty stacked this year. So it might be a little team to watch to make a run.
Yeah. He it looks like he plays both ways, corner and receiver. And you mentioned like Robert Stafford playing receiver and corner. I'm a huge proponent of receivers playing corners.
Yeah.
I mean, I need my corners to have played receiver or playing receiver or ball.
For sure.
I need that. You know what I mean? Those ball skills are even like you can have a corner that is technically sound and that can run step for step with a receiver,
right?
But can't play the ball, has no ball skills.
For sure.
And that doesn't help me. Yeah. I need to generate turnovers and get the ball. You know what I mean? So having a corner that can track the ball like a receiver is phenomenal to me.
I'll tell you who that Ricky Knight kid reminds me of. And this is someone I wish could have played longer, bro. He was one of my favorite corners. He was here. Was Malik Young.
Yeah.
Bro, his potential is so crazy. And talking about the ball skills and being able to track a ball in the air and being able to go up and get in, make a play and stuff like that, bro. People don't realize how crazy that ability is for a corner.
Definitely.
Because when you make it to that next level, not even just college, when you make it to the NFL, bro, that's how these young men are getting paid.
Yeah.
So it's huge for you to go, have that ability to go get the ball.
Facts.
Yeah. All right, Russell, before we get you up out of here, man, who are your dream 5 for this recruiting class? If you could pull, what I'm saying? I'm talking about ink dry on the NLI, everything's done, you know what I'm saying? who are your dream 5?
Oh man, I think that's the tough thing to do, bro.
First 5 in, kid. First 5 in.
Oh man,
we come with the hard hitting questions here on You Heard, bro.
Yeah, bro. Because like I don't do it as a whole class. I always do things as a position. Having it as because I'm the, as Dave likes to call him, I'm the pretty boy, right? Like I like wide receivers and DBs all day long.
Dave the trench guy. Dave is the trench bully.
So this is what I'll do. I'll give you Aaron Nolan at quarterback because you got to have a quarterback, right? Like that's
facts.
You don't really have a quarterback, bro. You're not really winning. I'll give you a wide receiver, and I think JoJo is a must. Like you have to get him. And I'll give you a trench guy. I think you got to get Brandon Baker in his class. I think he could be the next 5-star Mario Lands, him and Mirabal. And then David Stone, you gotta land him, bro. Like you have to land him. What's that 4? I wouldn't even go into my section, bro. I'll keep it in them trenches because I know D tackle is such a huge need, and I'll stay inside. And it's a 1A 1B thing for me. I don't really care who it is. Just get one of them if you can't get both. And my 1A will be Kamarian Franklin because I think he's your Joshua Horton in this class. Massive, like 6'6", 330-pound dude. And then Justin Scott out of Chicago, bro. Like, I think that dude has like Gerald Willis written all over him, bro. Like, he's just a man child.
That's my guy. Gerald Willis was my guy, bro. That was that guy has so much potential, and he just things. You know what I'm saying, things outside of football just kept affecting him, man, and just never could get it right on the field. That was my guy. Hey, Ross, man, look, man, this is how we do on the You Heard, man. As soon as you come on the show, man, open invitation forever, man. You wanna come in, chop it up. I'm saying I'm gonna hit you up in the DM. We'll talk, get you all set up, man, get you right, man. Appreciate you jumping on, man.
For sure.
You coming out to Caneswear, man, Friday?
I'm trying. I was talking to Ben about it. I got to work that day from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. So I'm gonna see if I can't make something happen though.
We discussed the plan. You know what I mean? Me and Ross discussed a little plan. We ain't gonna put it out there for public. We ain't gonna put it out there for public consumption. You know what I'm saying? But we keep that on the wraps, man.
Let me holler at you. Yeah, let me holler at the boss, man. I'll get you out of work, man.
But I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, man.
No doubt, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, man, appreciate you jumping on, man.
For sure, all right, Ross, y'all stay blessed, man.
Have a good night, brother.
Yeah, man, you too, brother. Oh, man, that's crazy. Hey, look, man, you already know we about to jump into this advertisement. You know what I'm saying? Little drop for our good people at Caneswear. Yeah. You see it, man. See it on the hat. You know what I'm saying? You see that? You see the hat right here. The shirt, all Caneswear, baby. It's what we do. All right, guys, let's get into it.
Welcome to Caneswear. Family owned and operated since 2010. Caneswear has all latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at Caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hey.
Yeah, man. You know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? We always donned out in Caneswear out here, man. Shout out to the good people, man. Like Joe said, look, man, April, we're going to put it on every show until then. April 14th, we're going to be out there, you know what I'm saying, doing a live pod, meet and greet. We don't want to drop any names yet for who we having as guests. You know what I'm saying? The flyers are coming out. I'm working on that. We making some things happen. You know what I mean? Some big-time names, some big-time content creators, man. But, you know what I'm saying? We keep that under wraps, man. We keep that under wraps for right now. But, yeah, man. Yeah, hey, look. This is a crazy day for us, man. We got, you know what I'm saying, we got Elite Eight basketball. You know what I'm saying? We're recording a little early today, starting here in a couple minutes, man. But want to make sure we get on here, man. Hey, look, Joe, we didn't do a pod last Wednesday. You know what I'm saying crazy schedule. So we got no winners today. I'm gonna put you on the spot here, brother. What do you got as the word of the podcast today, man? What you got?
It's a 5-star.
Yeah.
It's 2 words.
That's what we do.
5-star.
This the 5-star, man. 5-star is the word of the pod. Yo, man, look, you already know how we do here, man. I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to ask you something. I don't know if you got time to see the clip of Jim Larinaga talking about the NCAA NIL stuff. You know what I'm saying? That we're asking him.
I did. Yeah.
That we're asking him about it. Shout out to Inside the U for posting the clip, man. Let me see if I might have fact. Let me see if I can pull it up. Because what he was talking about was he what he was saying, I just paraphrase it. What he was saying was that he thinks every school should be public with all the players, you know what I'm saying, public with their finances. You know how like everybody's in our pockets about knowing how much Nigel Pack got, Isaiah Wong, you know what I'm saying? Like it should, like we know what the Tennessee quarterback got, but that's because we know it, you know what I'm saying? We heard it through the grapevine. It's not like a public report.
They didn't report it, yeah. Bryce Young and all of that, and
Yeah, exactly. You see like the Ohio State wide receivers, you know what I'm saying, doing express commercials and stuff like that. They act like they don't even see that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is the part that I wanted to ask you, bro. Like, why is it that we're the only school? I mean, we know why, right? Like, let's try to take like, instead of in the woods view of it, in the forest view, let's try to take a step back. Why is it that we're the only ones being asked about that? Like, every other school, you know what I'm saying, doesn't do it. And why is it that they're asking our coach? Like, I'll send you the clip after so you can watch it, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Because it just popped into my head. But you know what I'm saying, I was like, look, man, every school we should all know everybody should get paid, but that doesn't make us a good team. Like, if we don't have chemistry, we don't have shit. It doesn't matter what anybody's getting paid. Facts.
So when you say we're the only ones being asked about it, you mean by the media, like the national media, or I think because, let's keep it a buck, as Miami fans, I think we're the loudest. We talk a lot of shit. Like,
we do talk a lot of shit.
Miami fans talk a lot of shit. They already hate us. They already hate Miami. If you're not a Miami fan, if you don't love Miami, you hate Miami. Like, let's keep it. But I don't really know too many other fan bases or fans of other schools that say, "Oh, you're a Miami fan? Oh, they're cool. I like them too." Nah,
never.
It's I like Notre Dame. I like Ohio State. I hate Miami. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. So with Mr. Ruiz, you know what I mean? You know how he is on social media. You know what I mean? He's not pulling no punches, man. He's not holding his tongue. He's going at you. You know how we might argue amongst ourselves in the fan base, but if an outsider goes at anybody in this fan base, they get in the beats immediately. Like, the fan base is on their heads off rip. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is, man. We're just the loudest. That's all it is. So
I think I was looking at this and I was talking about it with my wife. Right? She's like, "Oh, I want to look into it." I'm saying, because my wife has a sociology degree. Like, I want to look into it and see like why that is. Because I'm saying, my wife grew up in South Florida. She grew up in Fort Lauderdale. I grew up in Miami. And I was like, and there's that part of that thing. I was like, maybe because I grew up in Miami, I only see it that way. But now living outside of Miami, like, you have the Ohio men's basketball coach making comments about Miami's pockets.
Yeah, after you get beat, that's what it is.
Yeah, not like I'm saying. Like, they're not. I don't even think Ohio was in the tournament. Like, I don't think they had anything to do with anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have like local sports writers for teams that aren't playing Miami, didn't play Miami, haven't played Miami all year, making comments. You know what I'm saying? And I go back to that whole thinking. Like, you think about it. If you grow up in a small town, if you're growing up like in like smaller areas, Miami's a big city. You know what I'm saying? We crazy with it. We loud with it. That's what we do. That's why I said, I'm saying, we celebrate with pots and pans while other people celebrate with fireworks. And you have these local reporters always saying, "Hey, man, Miami's doing up to something criminal. They're up to something illegal. They're not doing something right. Something about them just doesn't smell right." However you want to voice that, covered with, you know what I'm saying, any kind of, you know what I'm saying, outside influences, hatred, bigotry, ignorance, all that shit. But when you have the local reporter telling you that it's gonna be easy if you grew up in that small podunk town in Indiana to be like, oh yeah, man, Miami's corrupt.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You it's just easy, and it's so lazy though. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes sense if you don't have the internet. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes sense if you don't have the ability to go,
But even if you have the internet, that's what's on the internet. That's what's reported. When you look at what Miami is doing NIL wise, we're out front. We've been out front from the beginning. So when you look at what Nigel Pack pulled in, you know, when he transferred, when you look at the twins, the Cavender twins, you know what I mean? Yep. When you look at, you know, the money that was talked about with Rashada, even though, you know, it wasn't, you know, but when you look at that money, you know, when you look at, you know, multiple things, I don't think nobody on the football team we haven't heard anything about numbers with anybody on the football team, you know.
Yeah, they kept it quiet this year. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, when those numbers come out, man, and that's the perception, right? So that's the national perception, man. Miami has had that stigma since the beginning.
Yeah. It's dismissive too, right? Because we got two of our programs and the Elite Eight. No other college basketball program has it. Just us. You know what I'm saying? Like we could talk about it. They talk about how most of the fan base didn't go to the school. Hey man, Miami's a sports town. Like it's
a small school. It's a private small school. And you know what? A lot of people don't know that.
They don't.
Yeah, you would think they know. A lot of people think the University of Miami is a 80,000, you know what I mean? 80,000 student school. Nah, it's not, man.
And it's a very small school, small campus, small classes. I'm saying it's a small, tight-knit community of a university, man. And Alonzo said on this podcast, man, look, we were the school that wasn't supposed to, right? Yeah. And we're still looked at that way, regardless if we got 5 national championships in football, 4 national championships in baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like none of it matters because it's always been like, but they were doing something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just it's lazy, but it's understood, and you know what I mean? Like, and that's what it's gonna be. Like if they're gonna talk about us, man. But just spell our name right. It's Nigel Pack. You know what I mean? Not Nigel Park.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen, man.
It's gonna happen. And if you know, if football gets on board, man.
Ooh, yo. Listen, if football gets on and feeds off this energy that the basketball program is, listen, man, like I think we're recording before the games, right? The games are starting before the games. I'll probably do a live after the games. I know you'll be sleeping because, you know what I'm saying, it's past your bedtime. You know what I'm saying? But
chill out, son.
If we drop, I know if we come out of these 2 games victorious, I'm going to be real reckless. And you know what? I'm gonna be real reckless regardless because
talk reckless now, son. We ain't gonna wait for the outcome. Talk reckless now.
Look, man. What I loved, I watched that shit again today. The "Don't Pick Us." You know what I'm saying, that the Hurricanes put out for the Players Tribune. I love that shit. I love it because you roll in 3-4 weeks ago, NCAA trying to find us and get us suspended for some dumb shit that they found after a 2-year investigation, which was just a dinner and a fucking well done ribeye. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Which is a crime in itself, a well done steak. That's a crime in itself. But all right,
that you know, if it wasn't well done steak, that's the crime. That's the crime. You never do that. That's illegal in every way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You do all that shit. You get the word out and you drop it right before I think the ACC tournament. You know what I mean? Where you throw this like shadow over our program. These young men have faced all that adversity from everybody outside of this program, and they're beating the number 1 teams. Beat Houston for the men, beat the number 1 Indiana at Indiana. You know what I'm saying? After beating Indiana the night before.
Yeah.
Like, and you look at this team, both these teams, they don't give a fuck. Like you never see them blink. Like they never play any different. They play harder, but they're always consistent. So that has nothing to do with NIL. That has to do with the personality of the coaches and the confidence that Dan Radakovich has instilled in these coaches, man. Like when they're shooting at the free throw line or shooting a 3 or playing defense, ain't nobody thinking about their pockets. They're thinking about the beating. All you're thinking about is beating the person in front of you. and that swag. So get the fuck out of here with all this. Oh, it's money and all these things that tap in our pocket. It has nothing to do with that, man. We got 2 Elite Eight programs, back-to-back years for the men, and they're like that Houston game. They ran them out the gym in that second half. Yeah. Houston didn't know how to make a shot. Yeah. In every game, we haven't been picked. So don't pick us again. Don't pick us ever.
It's not like
forever.
It's not like no disrespect to Nigel Pack or whatever, but it's not like he's a top 5 player in the country or nothing like that, or was considered that when he transferred. You know what I mean? It's not like, he has the name recognition of the kid, the kid from Gonzaga, and you know what I mean, all these other cats. He wasn't that. He was just a good fit for the program. You know what I mean? Yep. And a good fit for the team, and they've gelled, and they've played, they've shot people. You know what I mean? So, and the team is built for the tourney. Like the team is built for the tournament. That's how they're built to make runs. You know what I mean? So when Houston tried to put pressure on in that second half, when they were down by like 10 or 12, they got easy layups and dunks because they're so much faster than you. Guards, and they have 4 guards on the floor, man. You know what I mean?
Like everybody's like, oh, Mike. Everybody's saying like, oh, Sasser's better. And all. Sasser was nowhere to be seen in the second half. Now he got ran out because they got 4 guards to run at you. Oh, you tired of Nigel Pack? Handle this Isaiah Wong. Handle this Luka Poplar. And I'm saying you want something. We got a fast ass forward in Jordan Miller. Come on, man. Put some respect on it, man. Like,
and Isaiah Wong ain't even getting busy, man. Isaiah Wong wasn't even. He was relatively quiet. You know what I mean?
We ain't gonna say what you said when I was on the phone with you. We're gonna keep that.
Nah.
that was a live reaction. That shit was so funny. I was like, what's going on here, man? Look, man. This is an elite day for our program, man. And something like, if you said it, if this football team starts winning, oh, we gonna get real disrespectful. Oh, I'm disrespectful now. If we keep it a buck, I'm real disrespectful now. But fam, like this team is working. We hear what I'm saying was happening. This team ain't talking. We don't know shit that happened yesterday at the scrimmage. I don't need to know nothing. It's nothing. I scroll through every reporter's Twitter. Not a fucking word. I can't confirm if they had a scrimmage. That's how. There hasn't been a 30-second clip from Canes football put out.
It's coming.
We don't know if there was. Yeah, it'll probably be out on Wednesday when we're not even thinking about it. Yeah, fam, like this is. I don't want to hear shit about practice. I don't want to hear about how good they looked in shorts. I care about game one, day one. That's it. I want them to respond to adversity. I want them to. That's what I think. That's what's been the thing that I love the most about these basketball teams. When they respond, when teams that are better than them respond, they don't blink like, all right, we're here, man. I'm gonna get this rebound. We're gonna hit this 3. We're gonna respond. They don't blink, and that's what I need to see from this team this year, this football team.
Yeah, I think our football team, man. I think an underrated thing that hasn't been happening, and I've talked about it before, is blowing out teams that we're supposed to blow out. Like when we get a Middle Tennessee State, or we get, you know what I mean, a team, a Miami of Ohio, and not disrespecting those programs, but you're supposed to blow those teams out, and you're not getting the younger players experience, valuable game experience, because you're in tight games with these teams that you're supposed to blow out. You know what I mean? Yep. Like the Clemsons, the Alabamas, you know what I mean? I remember one year, a couple years ago, Clemson like put up 70 on Georgia Tech, man, and they were playing third-string QBs, and people who will be playing in the future is getting valuable experience playing in real live games, and that helps, man. That really helps.
It does help. It does 100% help, man. You're right about that.
Yeah.
All right, man. Before we
get into this unforgotten, man, getting this unforgotten.
You know what I'm saying? Let's wrap it up here, man. You know what I'm saying? Unforgettable Canes, man. Hey, man, who we got for today, man? Let them know before I drop this highlight.
Yeah, we got last week we went offense. This week we got a linebacker, man, and You want to talk about fast, sideline to sideline, you know, a little bit undersized, who I actually thought we were going to get with Keontra Smith. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mr. Sean Spence, man. Mr. Spence.
Hey, man. Mr. Spence right here, man. Let's do this. We're going to play. I'm saying we don't know what it's looking like for the audio, so we ain't trying to get kicked off YouTube.
Yeah.
Hey, man, look, this guy came in as part of the Northwestern, you know what I'm saying, Northwestern crew, showing out with Ja'Cory Harris, you know what I'm saying, Marcus Fortston, the whole nine, man.
Yes.
Let's
Love
get these.
that man. That energy.
Flying all across the field, man. Started as a freshman.
Yeah.
Started as a freshman. Look at that. Respond, bam.
That game against Florida, he was going crazy. That game against Florida, he was going crazy.
And had some wild, like 20-something tackles in that Florida game.
Man,
I think he bought like
bananas.
Look at that. Wrap up, form tackle to the ground. Look at that. Just look at that. Let's take a second and appreciate that, man. See the work and the off season, man. You see, if y'all watching, man, you see what we putting up there, man. Look, work, stop, move, keep your feet moving. Man, Sean Spence was that guy, man. Shout out to Sean Spence, man. An unforgettable king. I know we know him, man. Yeah, man. I know we know him, but you know what I'm saying? You know what it is.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's run down his stats, man. According to Sports Reference, he had 169 solo tackles. You know what I'm saying? 148 assisted. That's got 317 total tackles in his 4 years. Yeah, started every year. 46 tackles. Jesus Christ. 46 tackles for loss. Nah, that's crazy. 10.5 sacks. Only one interception. I would have thought that would have been more. You know what I'm saying? And 3 forced fumbles.
Yeah. Sean Spence
was that guy, man.
Was a problem, man. I was a big fan of Sean Spence, man. Huge
undersized
fan.
Man, but hard working, man. You could just see that from the jump. Just a hard working dude, ready to work. Just showed up every day, ready to work. That I just got excited seeing the form tackling again. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just the wrap up. I was like, oh, we did do that here once. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that was nice, man. Yes, but yeah, man, like I said, man, you know what I'm saying this podcast don't stop, man. My brother, I appreciate you, man. We working on something special here for this.
Let me move my hair around.
Man. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? This is, I ain't cutting the top of my hair to the rest of the year, fam. So at one point, this is gonna drop, and I'm gonna look real Cam McCormick in this bitch. I'm gonna look real Cam McCormick. You know what I'm saying? And up in this thing, man. Look, man. Game starting. You know what I'm saying? Let's go, Canes. We'll chop. Y'all see this tomorrow. Let's get it, man. Hey, man, we out of here, man. We working on something special. April 14th, man. We're gonna be out at Kingswear. Let's go.
Yes, join us. Peace. Join us. Yes, sir.
Join us, man. Part of the Canes verse, baby. Let's go.